Sheahan for this week's presser for Ottawa, which we're deeming as rivalry game. Pat, can you talk a little bit about how much we dislike Ottawa?
There's no question historically that Ottawa has been the proverbial thorn in the paw of Queens. I think that there are generations of Queens football players that sort of look back on games of Ottawa with disdain. They're a good club. They're aggressive. Their quarterback is obviously playing at a very high level. They've got a veteran group of receivers that are performing quite well at the moment. They're very, very solid offensively. They lost their running back, I think, in the Windsor game. So, but they've got a reasonable replacement in there, I would say. And defensively, they certainly are good. They've got a solid defensive front, a very solid linebacker, and they play a very tenacious coverage scheme. Their special teams are quite good. So they're a very good football team. There's no question that a team that is at 4-0, as I told our players last night, any team that rolls in here at 4-0 certainly gets your attention. We know what it's like to be 4-0 at this point in the season, and you get people's attention, and you're 4-0 for a reason, because you're making the plays when they need to be made, and you're operating at a very high level. That said, they won a game by a single point. They stopped McMaster on the 5-yard line last week on a 3-down set. They've hung in and made plays when they had to make them, and so kudos to them.
Okay, we'll take questions from the floor.
Coach, given the start of the season, where does the team go from here, and what's the outlook on the rest of the season?
Very good. I did a full statistical analysis this morning. It's really hard to believe that, that we're behind, but we are. I think the goal has not changed, is that by the end of the season, be a very tough team to beat. I think that's where we're going to be. We've had I don't want to say some growing pains, because it wasn't a complete rebuilder at certain positions. Obviously, we're gaining experience. I thought the first 2 weeks of the season we got some terrific play out of some people. We really did, and then I thought that overall as a team against Guelph, we did come up with our best effort, and when it was required. There were some good plays in the Guelph game. Unfortunately, there were some not so good ones also. So I think we need to understand that about a half a dozen plays is the difference between us being where we are right now and being undefeated, 3-0. So just to remain positive and stay hardworking. I think our team probably, and the guys would probably comment on this, I thought we had one of our better weeks of practice thus far. And if we follow through with another good one tonight, I think that we probably will have had our best week of practice of the season. Perhaps after the Windsor game, maybe it was a major victory, big score, domination, that kind of stuff. When things like that happen, you can perhaps feel a little bit too good about yourself. And Guelph was humbling, and I think we're right back down where we need to be, feet firmly planted on the ground.
The good week of practice, is that because they're PO'd, or?
I think that there's a sense of urgency this week that maybe wasn't there last week, and I think that I don't want to say we didn't practice hard, but it's my observation that there's definitely a difference. Guys are getting off the ball. The quality of contact in practice is a little crisper. I think guys are responding appropriately. They understand that this is a big game. This is a good team. You need to have your best effort. So your best effort is usually the culmination of your best practice week. So the guys have responded.
Why is this Ottawa quarterback been so successful?
Well, I think he's prototypical quarterback. I mean, he's about just a hair under 6'3", I believe. He's athletic. He throws the ball well. He can take off spontaneously. He's kind of a complete package guy, to be honest with you. And he's also better. He's got a few miles on him now, and sees things a little bit better. The guys are protecting him not too bad. You get in a groove. It's like a baseball pitcher. You get in a groove, and you know, he's in a groove right now. I think he's performing quite well, and his team is counting on him heavily to, you know, to get that done.
Speaking of quarterbacks, is there a controversy here?
Not really. I don't think so. You know, if you look to the future of the quarterback here at Queens, you got to look forward with tremendous optimism. You know, I thought that Justin really played well enough and well enough to win in the game. I mean, it was very, very difficult to predict what was going to happen there. Unfortunately, the supporting cast didn't step up and have a great game either. Obviously, we're not getting the ball in as good a field position by times anymore. So, you know, the drives, there's more field to cover, more plays to be made. Justin got into a little bit of difficulty when the play calling took him out of his comfort zone. And unfortunately, the previous 2 weeks against McMaster and Windsor, he was able to throw some deep balls effectively, very effectively actually. So there were a couple of deep balls that got away from him in the game, and those are the only things that he really, you know, was responsible for in the game. Then, you know, as the tighter the score gets and the score starts to slip away, there's a young quarterback is going to press too hard to make plays, not going to be as patient, that kind of thing. So the other kid came in, Billy came in. It's undeniable that he has a tremendously strong arm. He may have one of the stronger arms I think I've seen in a young quarterback, and that includes Danny. I mean, as a first-year guy, Billy can really wing it. But I think as a first-year quarterback, there's also a lot of things that you need to learn. There will be a few mistakes. He made a few mistakes in the game. Once again, we had a few protection issues at critical times in the game. That, you know, he got hit when he was throwing one to Chris Ioannidis. You know, if he has, you know, a split second longer to throw that ball, who knows? Maybe he puts it, you know, just make it a little bit easier ball to catch. There was another big play there, a controversial non-catch, where unfortunately he's getting walloped right in the chin as he's letting the ball go. These are things that, you know, we can't have happen, you know, just at the most inopportune time. And that's kind of where we're at right now. The lugs are a little bit loose on the wheels. For myself, I did not see that coming at Guelph last week. I thought that we were going to be revved up and go out there and get after them. And understand this, it's not a lack of effort. The kids are out there giving them, you know. It's just, you know, sometimes you feel you have to press too hard, and, you know, there is a performance zone where you need to be competitive, but also a certain sense of confidence and be relaxed at the same time. I mean, it's all of those things in one, and we haven't hit that stride yet. So this week is another opportunity. We're playing against, I guess, the top team in the league right now. You have to say it the way it is. And, you know, it's another opportunity to go out there and, you know, improve as a team.
So Justin starts.
Yep.
How much of a leash does he have going forward?
Well, it's certainly not going to be defined by you, that's for sure. So, you know, how much does a leash does he have? Well, I think that depends on his performance, right? I mean, if he goes out there and he moves the team well, and why would we? You know.
You touched on Ioannidis. What's happening?
Chris is injured at the moment, and you know, he's not in the lineup this weekend. I think he's going to be scrutinized for, you know, for more. They're going to be more in-depth follow through. They're waiting for the swelling to go down. It's going to take a look. There's been sort of ambiguous reports, you know, about how serious his injury is. Obviously, best case scenario would be that he's out a couple of weeks. Worst case scenario is that he doesn't return. So we're waiting to hear on that.
Anything else, guys?
I thought that Chris was, I'd just like to say this about Chris, I thought that he was, you know, he's had a tremendous career here, but especially over the last couple of years, and a big part of the team's success last year, and you know, even in this game that he got hurt in, he was our leading receiver in the game. So when you lose when Chris is out there, you lose a kind of a gamer. You know, Chris is a game day performer. Shows up, makes plays. You know, he catches the ball in traffic and that sort of high traffic area, if you will. There, he usually gets hit by 2 or 3 people when he catches the ball. So, you know, he will be a significant loss to the offense this week.
Anything else? Okay, Pat, we've got John Mignachi and Matt O'Donnell here. Could you maybe speak a couple words with them?
Well, I'll start off with Matt, the senior. Matt has had, you know, his career has been starting off from humble beginnings, okay? I think Matt will tell you that early in his career he was humble. Everybody liked running by a guy who was 6'10", okay? And what happened as his career unfolded, you know, he learned to bend his knees, he got some upper body strength, learned to stab people, and by the time he was in his junior year, he was a full-fledged starter. He started in his second year here, but it was his third year, I think, where he really stepped up and became a dominant player, and you know, began to throw people around and you know, and really play with some aggression. And he had, as we say, he found himself and got full control of his physical attributes. This year as a senior, he's performed well, there's no question about that. You know, he's going to get some, you know, considerable interest, I would think, after this year, you know, at the next level. So it's important for Matt now to continue to improve every week, you know, polish up his skills. And he's got to go out there and, you know, play with that same kind of O'Donnell aggressiveness that we've come to know and love. Okay, and then, but also stay within himself, you know, and understand that the leadership role that he needs to play, he can play by just going out there and playing well and being a source of inspiration. You can't do anybody else's job at the same time. So if Matt can just sort of manage himself and continue to improve, he should have another stellar year. John Mignachi came in as a freshman last year, and with the departure of Kevin McGee, you know, moved right into the nose guard spot as a freshman, and he was there in the national championship game as a freshman. He started at nose, and he had a terrific year. John is a very even-tempered guy. He was well-trained at St. Michael's College in Toronto. He was part of a very successful team there. He's fit in extremely well here. Our coach, Bob Vespasiani, the D-line, has got nothing but great things to say about his work ethic, his attitude, and he's emerging as a great player. And with the youth on our defense, John is now emerging as one of the leaders in his sophomore year. So, you know, big things to come from him in the future.
All right, brings to close today's press conference with Pat Sheahan. We'll have player one-on-ones, and then everyone can have themselves pizza.